to do is we want to search for door, and we want to highlight. Now the engine package is different than the UDK, and you can see there's a game. So there's metal close, open, door, metal door open. So I'll highlight this one, and then I'm going to do new action, which is something that happens as a result of being triggered. And I'm going to do play sound, and I'm going to basically say when this is touched, I want you to play this sound, and that's going to ask you what the sound is. So if we open at the top, it's going to say none, and you'll see this little green arrow. As long as you highlight whatever you want, and I hit the green arrow, it's going to load up that sound. So now when it opens, it'll load that sound. And with the going down or the other way, we can have this, when this goes back down and it's doing the reverse, we can have it play a sound as well. So you can do this a couple ways. We can add a new action sound, play sound. We can say with this is not touch, play this sound. And this sound is going to be the metal door closing. Oh, open stop, open start. Oh, okay, so the different one. Close start. And that's because they have different ways of continuing the noise while it's up, etc. Okay, so let's see what we got at this point. Play from here. Okay. 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 So if I go to do anything at this point with this, let's do play from here. And we'll do make me invisible. Okay. And then we want to do add bots 1. Let's see. It knows there's a door, but it has no idea what to do with it. So it basically ignores it. So what you need to do is you need to add a special actor class. So we go to actor class, which is, you got content browser, actor class. Open up navigation, and you'll see one's called door marker. And you can place the door marker at it there. And what it is it's a little controller that when the bot is in this area, it triggers it. So it's a special trigger for bots, and also it's a queue for them. So what we need to do is we need to open it up, and we need to tell it what the door and the door trigger is. So let's go grab the trigger, and now you see how this changes. So what we need to do with the markers, we need to lock it, and then we need to select the trigger and load up the trigger. And then let's see, and then my door is select the mover, and then this one we're going to have to type in by hand because interp actor underscore 1, and then that pulls it up. So now it knows this is the object, this is the trigger, and door type shoot, door type touch. So this means when you touch it, it opens, and that's the basic. Now at this point, if I do build all, and path node is unnecessary, and that's because all of a sudden that has become a path node now. So now there's actually 2. The thing we can do with this one that is unnecessary is bring it on the other side of the door, and now if we build all, and it might say it's now it doesn't say it's unnecessary because it's on the other side of the door. So the bot's going to go here, they're going to see this, they're going to go through, and also you have to make sure there's enough incentive, so it might go back and forth a couple times, we'll see. Okay, so tab, visible true, and oh, and just killed myself. Sorry. You can see it opens it. Now the problem is everything's closed, but you can see at least it sees it and it's running back and forth. We should have a barrier blocking this because that's what's kind of causing some issues. You can actually go in and break connections with stuff. If you do, there's different, right click, and you'll see that there's different path options, so you can force stuff on, you can turn it on and off. There's also a list of all the things that something's connected to. There's a lot of stuff with that, but if nothing else, you can kind of go through and here's your path list. So these are different things stuff's connected to. And if I open this up, there's two different ones, so you can enable them, you can change them, those different things. So there's a lot of stuff, but we're not going to get into that necessarily today. Okay, so I'll do a save as level so I can upload this when I'm done with it. And we'll do 001. Okay, so what we want to do next is we want to add an elevator. Elevator is pretty well the same thing as what we've seen so far. It's a little bit more complicated to set up, and there's a couple different types of elevators that you can use. So the most basic one would be to, let's see, we need to do okay, so let's start making the elevator. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in highlight and do add actor. Now you can use any shape you want, just to let you know. There's all these different types. If I wanted to use a base short node buddy, I could do that. Add intervector, it doesn't really make a difference what it is. Let's scale this down, and let's go on the top view and see where this is. It's a little small, so we'll adjust the size a bit. Most friction, my scale pretty disabled, so and let's put it here. And okay, so that's great. And now let's look at it from the front. I'll get it perfectly lined up. Okay, so this is our elevator. And what we need to do with it is, remember, we got to go into F4 and open up collision and set collision to block all. That's easy enough, we've done that already. Now as far as the trigger, what we can do is we can make this object its own trigger. So we'll go into Kismet, make sure that we have here's our one that we already have, we'll add a new one. Right click and say new event using interp2 touched. So what that means is anytime that anyone's standing on it, it's activated. And so now we can do matinee. And let me just check out one other thing, because there is a mover option. Okay, let's do the mover option. We've already done this one. So just to explain briefly what I did is I right clicked and I said new event using intervector mover, and you'll see this actually sets up everything, which is nice in some ways because you don't have to think about it as much. Now a pawn is a character, and it's saying whenever a pawn is attached, which basically means whenever someone's standing on this, it's going to play an animation, and then whenever it's finished, it's going to go backwards, and if it hits the actor, it's going to go. Now, open finished is more for doors, those types of things. So what we're going to do is we're going to break the link, and we're going to do detached reverse. So that means the instant you're off, the elevator will go back to where it began. Now this is a rather simple one. If you want a more complicated one, you would create two triggers, a trigger at the top, a trigger at the bottom, and then have the animation go back and forth depending on where the trigger is in priority. But this is just a very basic one to set up. And then hit actor, change directions. There's options that you can have. Someone gets hit, they get killed. Or this is kind of a friendly option, if you will. So let's go in and do animate this. Double click. And there's already a mover and a mover group. That's the other nice thing about this. It doesn't have a key, so now we have a key at the beginning. And then we want to pull this down, and let's make sure it's lined up in this viewport as well. It's good enough. Oh, and I didn't want to do that because I want to move the scrubber to, let's give this 3 seconds to go. Add a key. So now if I play this, there's no movement, so now I gotta go back to the beginning key, which if I highlight it, it'll snap back, and then I need to pull this back up, and now you see I have the connection. So now when I play this, it slowly goes down, and just be aware once again that we need to zoom out, and if we want this to delay a while, so right now it's going to delay, we could leave it up at 5. If I want it to instantly the person get off to go back the other way, I would do at 3. Okay, so let's test this out and see what happens. Because it's Kismet, we don't necessarily need to build, so I can do play from here. Okay, let's walk on top of this. And there we go. So we just went down. And if I look, there it goes back up. So that's pretty handy to know as far as an option and how to use it.